You said BBC to my jaw if I don't make another Uma Musume video? Just put that BBC in me. But guess what? I'm here to make another Uma Musume video. Now, I was supposed to come out with this video a long time ago, but unfortunately my computer basically died and I lost all of my progress with my other projects and this one, so I've had to redo it. So yeah, a little depressing. But I'm back. After a month hiatus, out here looking like Corey Kenshin every time he promises to come back and, upload, just lying to us blatantly. But in this video, we will be talking about Cinderella Grey with Oguri Cap. Now, this was one of the first spinoffs that I ended up watching, and I said in my last video that this was really good. And so I ended up making a post about it saying if I should make a video about it. And guess what? A lot of y'all were like, yo, do it. So guess what? I'm here now doing it, and I can't wait. Also, part 2 of this series recently just came out, so I'm also watching that. So this video will be part 1 covering most of season 1, and then once part 2 of the anime finishes, then I will make part 2 of this video for that season. Also, I'm not an Uma Musume channel, so this will not be a reoccurring thing where I make videos of Uma Musumes. Now, there is another video that I potentially will be making, and it will be about that video game Dispatch, because that game is really good and I want to play it. So when I'm done playing that will probably be my next video that I come out with. Also, one more thing. I did not know that I was pronouncing Uma Musume wrong. Uma Musume. And my bad. I'm sorry. I did not know I was pronouncing it wrong. All y'all in the goddamn comment sections was on my ass. Dick riding. So stop, please. But enough of the app. Let's hop right into it. Okay. In classic Uma fashion, we start off with a race. And we meet some horses talking about the race. And one of them is actually very important to the story. Her name is Symboli Rudolph. Now, I'm just gonna call her Rudolph for now, because as y'all know, I butcher names routinely, and I don't trust myself to even say this simple name over the course of this entire video. We then see 2 trainers. This is Kitahara and this is Shibasaki. Currently, they're in the slums right now watching a whole different race. And not gonna lie, the rest of these horses are on straight vibes, because these 2 trainers are here to scout a new star. And well, like I said, they're in the slums. No one really cares here. So everyone, pack it up. Y'all are wasting everybody's time. And these 2 trainers are stressing because, well, they can't find a star. And I mean, it makes sense. I mean, look at where y'all are at. But as they're walking home, little do they know that their star has actually just ran right past them. We then meet our main characters. This is Bell No Light, this is Fujimasa March, this is Norn and her goons. And we're about to be introduced to Cap. And so you would think that, okay, she's about to walk into this classroom or a farming, right? On some Yuta shit when he walked into the classroom for the first time. Nope, she decided to show up to the classroom wearing a dirty tracksuit, looking crazy as hell. The teacher then explains to everyone that they have 15 courses where they'll be making their debut. Now, if they perform well, they will then be invited to the Tokai Derby, the most prestigious event in the region. One of them then asks about national races, and the teacher's like, don't worry about that. None of y'all aren't good enough to make it. All right, damn, like, I thought you were supposed to help guide us, not to shut down my damn dreams. And I've always hated teachers like that too, because then they'll be like, what do you want to be when you grow up, son? Oh, I want to cure cancer and be a doctor. You ain't curing nothing, and you ain't becoming no damn doctor. The only thing you about to be is in an orange jumpsuit in C block D13. We see Kitahara jogging, and he ends up running into Cap. So this is like our first real interaction between these 2, and he realizes that she's like really flexible, like abnormally flexible. Now we're at a little scouting event. Now, I don't think I need to explain to you what this event is for, but I will say that everyone is looking at March like she's the #1 overall draft pick. While everybody's glazing March, Kitahara doesn't really seem interested in her as much as everybody else, but he does see Cap in the distance, who actually does pique his interest. The race starts, and March basically no-diss everybody, impressing everybody as well in the process, while getting a time of 50.8 seconds. Like, bro, I don't know why you're trying so hard in these lobbies. Like, you know damn well you're faster than everybody else, and you're trying this hard? Bro, get out of here. Everybody runs to her trying to sell hopes and dreams. Then Kitahara sees Cap and says, wait, isn't she a little too flexible? Norn and her goons are conspiring against Cap because they have like beef for no reason, and I don't even think Cap herself knows that there's beef, because let's be honest, Cap has a little bit of the tism. She wouldn't be this good at the sport if she didn't. Mind you, their plan was to untie her shoe before the race started, but of course Cap doesn't really care about that. She ties her shoes, then locks in. She ends up cooking the ops, but Kitahara realizes that her form is really uncomfortable. Like, how are you running like that type uncomfortable? But it's because of her flexibility in her knees, and Kitahara is about to cry because, well, he finally found the star that can get him out of the trenches, and so they finally meet. Kitahara is pleading, begging, willing to lose his dignity just to have Cap on his team, just so that he can win the Tokai Derby. He also wants to show that Kasamatsu can produce stars as well, not just any star either. He wants a star that can touch people's hearts and reshape the world of racing. And Cap's like, I bet, I'll join your team as long as you let me race. So they meet up at the clubhouse where Cap is going to sign with the team. Now, this contract is going to turn into a 360 deal later, and you'll see why. He even signs Bell and No Light to the team as well. We cut to March training, and Shibasaki's like, hey, you want to take like a little break? Don't wear yourself out. And March is like, no, I'm not going to take a break. And that's because, well, she has a little rivalry with Cap, and she doesn't want to lose to her. She also has a dream to win the Tokai Derby as well. And yes, March did pick Shibasaki as her trainer. Now, a lot of y'all in the Uma community probably already know this, but for the people that don't, Cap eats a lot. Now, this isn't just a character trait of the character in the anime. No, the horse in real life also ate a lot of food. And I saw a post on Twitter that was a great representation of not only just Cap, but another entity in the sphere of eating a lot of food. And that is the hungry caterpillar, the greatest glutton of today versus the greatest glutton in history. Now, I don't know why I decided to talk about this fact before anything else, but here we go. The lineup for this upcoming race is kind of crazy. We're in for a real show. Yeah, this year's rookies are kind of different, even though the best of them can only do with my eyes to save me. Or does that shit say Fujimasa Mach? Like, I question what I do sometimes. So yeah, right there for the debut race for Cap, she's going against March for her first race. Cap gets a little package from her mom, and it's a hair accessory that her mom had worn previously, and now she's giving it to her daughter Cap. Alright, so it's race day, and Cap has put on her gift that her mom gave her, and it's a little hair accessory. This hair accessory actually represents something. It represents Oguri Cap's trainer's uniform that he wore on race day. March then goes up to Cap like, I won't lose to you, I will be the one going to the Tokai Derby. Cap doesn't even know that there's a rivalry between them because she's oblivious as hell, so none of this really even matters to her. So this whole interaction meant nothing. So March, we are going to be deducting your aura points. The race starts, and it wasn't the cleanest start for Cap, to the point to where she is last, and it looks like our goat is struggling to run. But there's nothing to worry about. She's able to regain her footing and starts to catch up. March is ahead of the pack, and as the racer ahead of her takes the slightest breath, March is all of a sudden on her ass. But then Cap remembers she's the main character, and she gets a good old anime flashback, and remembers what her trainer taught her before the race. And the key was her ankles, and to have her do ankle workouts. But yo, after remembering all that, she's ready to hog down March, and March is feeling the pressure, knowing damn well she might fumble this bag. But she doesn't have to worry about that, because even though the race was close, she ends up winning the race. Boy, she looks shook as hell, probably because she knows that Cap is better than her, and the only reason why she won was because Cap was struggling to run. So this win, kinda fraudulent. After the race, Cap is feeling frustrated for the first time, and it makes sense, you lost your first ever race. Besides that, her shoes are cooked, because she ran so damn hard, her shoes started to fall off her feet. So the plan is to get her new shoes that have 10 plus durability for the next race. Okay, so this upcoming race is not that important, so we're gonna skip through it a little bit. Cap, she puts on the new kicks. Guess what? She runs faster because of it. Number 2, Norn, she's an op. She's racing in this. She also realizes that she's not built for this. She realizes that there's levels to this. After getting her ass handed to by Cap, she then realizes to herself that, hey, maybe Cap is actually really cool. Maybe I was weird. Maybe I really was a weirdo that was just being mean to someone that I didn't know. Man, who would have thought? So after Cap traumatizes her opponents, she then goes on and does a victory dance. Now, I forgot to mention this in my last video. In the world of Uma Musumes, they do like whole ass concerts for the winner, like victory dances basically, and it's like Rolling Loud concerts. They're big as hell. Now, unfortunately, Cap dances like your average suburban white person and has no idea what she's doing. It looks like she's summoning a eldritch war god or something with the way she's dancing. Okay, so Norn and her goons have apologized for their past transgressions, to the point to where Norn is gonna help her learn how to dance. Norn starts blushing, and now we got more fans of Cap. So I won't call them goons anymore. They're actually real people this time. Alright, so we fast forward a bit and we see the squad training. Cap heads up to the mountain and she sees March staring off into the distance. Kitahara sees them talking, but then March's trainer stops Kitahara from intervening. Then March then asks, what are Cap's goals? So now we're really getting into the deep dive of these characters. Cap then thinks about it, and she doesn't have a goal yet. She doesn't understand why she's running or what she's running for. So this question gives Cap a little bit of a dilemma, because now she's pondering it. She's questioning why she's even doing it to begin with. We see them making a game plan for the next race where it will be a rematch against March. Captain thinks about what March said and asks if the derby is really that special, and comes to the conclusion that that will be her dream. We meet another old man trainer, and not gonna lie, when I see these trainers, I expect them to get killed off and randomly die of a disease. I'm just saying. His name is Rope, and with the race about to start, we see another person watching the race. Ooh, could it be another really important character that we're gonna see later on that may have implications to the story and who Cap is as a character? Bam, the race starts, and March is on the outside while Cap is on the inside, meaning it's harder for Cap to turn while March can treat it like it's a straightaway. Both of them are thinking about each other's moves and their own, and in the process, both of them use their skills at the same time. It looks like Cap can't catch up, and March is thinking to herself that she's not gonna lose, I've never lost a race, and she's having a whole flashback sequence. March, I just wanna let you know, this series is not about you, and I wouldn't be talking to you like this if that was the case. But guess what? It's about the beast herself. And you're about to see why this series is about Cap. Because Cap gets a power up and gets a second first step, and everybody is shook. Even March herself is wondering, how the hell did she even get a second first step? Then Cap takes the lead to win the race. March is fuming. She wants to rage quit so bad. So then she asks Cap, how the hell did you do it? Cap doesn't even know herself. But Cap says it's thanks to March that she understands what she meant back then, saying that without a peak to aim for, then there's no point in climbing the mountain. Cap puts her hands out saying, let's run the Tokai Derby together, cause she's just like that. Obviously March is like, I won't lose next time. Now we get to see Cap dance, and it's actually improved, you know? She's actually hitting that though. And Kitara's gonna try to enter Cap into another derby. Rope doesn't really like that decision. We see them pull up on a race that they're not supposed to be at, and no worries, you'll find out why. We see the old man at the race, and he's upset that they came. Belno pops up with something to say, and says that Rudolph wants to see them. Yeah, that horse that we saw earlier, yeah, that one. Also, I'll talk about her soon. Obviously, she's here to watch the race. They also make a claim saying that Ashen horses can't race. Now, I had to look this up to see if this was true. And not gonna lie to y'all, this was just superstition. The reason why is because it was like influential opinions, military tradition. They thought that great horses had like weak knees and stuff like that. Like, it was just crazy. Because at this point in time, which was like, I think the 80s, they just genuinely believed that they couldn't race. And because gray thoroughbreds were rare, they just did not have an example of these great horses going out there and racing at a top level, let alone dominating anything. So when you have, well, Oguri Cap and, well, the other horse that we'll get to here soon, it kind of changes the landscape of, well, the racing industry. Well, the race is going to start, and Kitahara is over here tweaking out, and the old man is chilling because he knows damn well that Cap is going to dominate this race, and he knows why that's going to be the case. Because as fast as this race started, it ended just as fast, and because of that, them boys in them suits pull up. The CIA is always watching you, bro. They're probably watching you right now. Rudolph introduces herself, and she's like, yo, it's the big leagues. You made it, Cap. And that's the reason why the old guy didn't want them coming here, because putting her in the spotlight means that she can be scouted for nationals, and that is exactly what Rudolph wants. Out of nowhere, we get a flashback, and it's 15 years ago with Kitahara living the average life of a Twitch viewer. And Rope bursts into his room saying that you are going to get the forbidden word, a job! So we see Kitahara go to the Tokai Derby, and he watches a race, and he sees the joy and the magic that you can have when watching these races, and that is the reason why he has the dream to win the Tokai Derby. Now that we know these things, Kitahara is stuck because he has a dream to win the Tokai Derby, but he also doesn't want to stop Cap from growing. And he's starting to realize that she's basically carried him up until this point. Belno tells him that that is not his decision to make, so then he goes up to Cap to tell her about the offer that Rudolph gave her. But like, he does it in a way that's like really weird, because he's not like telling her straight up. He's like half-assing it. He's like, well, it's good news because guess what? You get to go to nationals, but if you do go, you won't be able to run the Tokai. You'll leave me and Belno behind, and, you know, March and your other friends, but hey, it's a great offer and you should take it, you know? Like, what do you think? Captain asks Kitahara if he can come with her, but he can't because he's not licensed to train anybody at the national level. Cap is like, no, if that's the case, then there's no point in me going all the way over to nationals without the people that I already made promises to. Because she already made a promise to March that she would race with her in the Tokai Derby. She already made a promise to Kitahara that they would win the Tokai Derby. So she just stands 10 toes. He gets a call from Rudolph about Cap's answer. He then comes to the decision, a crazy one at that, to then give Cap an ultimatum for whatever reason, mind you. The ultimatum is that if she wins, she can then go to nationals, but if she loses, she can keep her dreams and stay with her friends. Kitahara gave her the 360 deal of doom and despair. He goes to tell Rudolph, and she's like, you wrong for doing that, and everybody would agree. Rumors are spreading about the decision somehow, and everyone is either angry or depressed. You got March slapping Cap because of the promise that they made. Yeah, the vibes, they're not vibing right now. Everyone is just sad and just depressed, and it's just like, damn dog, like I didn't expect this. And March is like, I don't want you to go. And Cap makes it simple. You have to beat me. If you beat me, I can't go to nationals. March is like, all right, bet, that's simple enough. As Cap is heading to the gate, she isn't really looking like she's in it mentally at all. Race starts, and the old guy can easily tell that Cap is not in it at all. March is also noticing this, saying that, damn, you're not even trying. And Rope walks up to Kitahara and is like, yo, look at your student, look at your pupil. She's struggling to run out there and you're just keeping your head down. Kitahara sees that and he realizes that he messed up royally. So he tries to run after her and ends up tripping, having a bloody nose, or a loss yet again. Kitahara then yells at Cap saying, run your heart out. And you know what? She ends up getting her groove back and she starts cooking everybody in the race. Now obviously this moment is a pretty big moment for Cap, but not only that this signifies a new era for Cap, but this signifies the beginning of a legendary story about an Uma that pioneered horse racing as a whole. So we also see March cry, knowing damn well she'll be a background character for the rest of the series. Even with all that being said, the real life horse was chilling. The real life horse's name was March Tosho, and competed in 7 races against Oguri Cap and ended up beating Cap in the first 2 encounters that they had with each other. And then not even just that, March was the only horse to beat Oguri Cap in Kasamatsu. Everybody's being nosy and they want to know about the rumors and if the rumors are true. And Cap confirms the rumor, saying, yes, me winning today means that I leave y'all's broke asses to get out of the slums and race at the national level. Kitahara and Cap talk about the fact that they're going to split up now. Now Kitahara's like, no worries, I'm going to get a national license, but until then, I will not be your trainer. March walks up to Cap saying, hey, if I was going to lose to you today, and again, one more time, I promise you I was ending my career right then and there. Mind you, I want you to understand how insane that is. You lost to a generational talent, but because you lost to them multiple times, you just want to end your career right then and there? Hey, go ahead. Cap and her friends decide to take one last picture before she leaves, and that concludes the first arc of this series. Mind you, that is 6 episodes that I had to cover. Whew, boy, I am struggling right now. We are finally back at the school for Get the Racers, and Old Man Rope is going to be our new trainer until Kitahara gets his national license. And he explains how the school works, but none of that matters because we are going to meet Rudolph. Alright, so now it's time for me to actually talk about this Uma real quick. So they say in the show that this is the only Uma at the time that was undefeated, let alone also won a triple crown, which all of that is true. I looked it up, and yeah, this horse was the first in history to win the undefeated Japanese triple crown. Also, this horse is known as the Emperor, also won 7 G1 races, and is also offspringed and has sired Tokai Teo, who is in the main series of, you know, the anime and whatnot. So yeah, this horse, this horse, it's him. Cap gets introduced to the rest of the class, and we also meet some new horses, new rivals, and so on. The teacher decides to hit us with some exposition about the graded races and the classic races as well, stuff that I already talked about in my previous video, and I don't know if I even feel like wanting to do it again. Kat remembers what she said before coming to the school, and she says, well, if I can't win the Tokai Derby, I'll just win the Japanese Derby, like it's the easiest thing in the world. And well, Bell No Light and Norn are looking at her like, what the hell? No, it's not as easy as you think it is. But y'all forgot, she's the main character, and nothing is easy for the main character in any of these stories. And the main driving plot for this arc is the fact that she couldn't register for any of these classic races, so this is kind of a problem for her. This was an actual rule placed by the JRA, and I don't know why they placed this in, because it basically means that no matter how good the horse was, if they could not register in time before the classics, they couldn't race. And this happened to Oguri Cap, and it changed the course of history. Cap goes to the one and only person that she can go to in this situation, and then it's the student council president, Rudolph. And Rudolph is like, well, that sucks, buddy. You should have registered beforehand. And unfortunately, that is the rule, and Cap disagrees with that. Rudolph gets serious and starts yapping about how the Japanese Derby is a completely another story from graded races, and how that if you want to reach the top and be the best, you can't just simply waltz in and just take it, you know? And Cap is just like, no, I don't care. I'm gonna stand 10 toes down. Your rules, your presidents, I'll break them all down with these legs. And that is verbatim of what she said. showdown. Now Cap is in a race in a G3 race already, even though she just got to the school. Also, there's another racer talking shit about her, and whatever the case is, I do not care. To prepare for the race, she ends up racing up against competent racers. Now the comp is a bit different now because they're actually experienced. It's like going from gold lobbies to plat lobbies. Maybe that's a little bit of a Marvel Rivals reference because of the fact that I'm hard stuck plat, but hey, yeah, that's just what it is. So this is the Pegasus Stakes race, and we finally meet the reporter, and his name is Fuji. He's also wondering why is Cap not doing preliminary races for the upcoming classics. Well, does he even know? Well, he's a little bit smarter than what I thought. He ends up figuring out real quick that she probably did miss the deadline. After feeling a little bit nervous and being told to loosen up a little bit, she looks up to the sky and realizes that, damn, I'm really at nationals. I'm really here. And she starts to revel in it. She understands the excitement of where she's at. So much so that she does the iconic shake that the real life horse did in real life. Some randoms talk about how hard it is to win their first race, especially if it's a graded race. Cap is also struggling in this race because the comp is harder now. It's not going to be as easy. You can't use the same text like you did in the previous comp, right? So now she understands that, all right, what can I do differently that can help me win this race? And she loosens up, and then she understands that she can just take the outside lane and beat everybody else, in which she does. And obviously everybody was excited watching her race because now it means that she can be the next great Uma that could win a triple crown and bring excitement back to horse racing as a whole. The reporter also realizes, like, wait, she can't even race in classics. We see our next opponent. Now this race is kind of a big one, sort of, not really, but kind of is. The reporter decided to start stirring up things because he knows damn well that Cap deserves to be in the classics. Cap obviously wins the race, and I can already hear y'all, oh, but you skipped the race, you didn't talk about the race. Because after this race, people are starting to understand that Cap is the real deal, and people are starting to wonder why Cap is not in the classics. And because of that, the reporter uses all of that momentum to push an agenda, to push propaganda, and I respect it. In a world of agendas, we need people like him. He is pushing this agenda so hard that he's also getting an audience with Rudolph, and because of that, Rudolph is also understanding that this is kind of messed up, that the best horse in the competition right now, that is not even in the competition, is not racing. We'll get back to Rudolph and how she feels about that rule. But forget all about that, because in the meantime, Rudolph is going to watch a race with a specific character in that race, and that character is Tamamo Cross. Now, Tamamo Cross is such an important character to the story that when Rudolph was watching her, she recognized Cap inside of her, and that's also because that Tamamo Cross can also be that next great Uma that Cap can also be as well. After all the manipulation, the persuasion, Rudolph finally makes the decision to go talk to the board about the rule. The board is yapping about how Cap has only been here for 2 months and saying that allowing her to be in a competition like this would undermine the classics and the other elite racers that are also participating, even though the said elite racers have also lost to Cap multiple times. And the board is trying to understand where Rudolph is trying to get at, because they don't understand why she's standing 10 toes down for Cap. Not even just that, they're also trying to understand that, wait, you're telling us to change our rule for one racer? Rudolph is like, yeah, that's exactly what I'm asking. After pleading with the board and even bowing down to the board makes their verdict. And guess what? We at the Japanese Derby, and everyone is hype, and everyone is getting an introduction, and of course the GOAT herself is getting an introduction. She steps foot on the track, everyone's excited to see her race. It's just the vibes are immaculate right now. And when I mean everybody is watching this race, everybody is watching this race. All the races are in their gate right now, getting ready for the race to start. The race starts and everybody's already strategizing against each other. They're already thinking about how can they overtake another racer and how can they even preserve the rest of their strength for the end of the race. Cap is lying in wait in the middle of the pack, and while the race is going on, Rudolph is thinking about her racing career. As the racers are starting to hit to the second corner into the back stretch, Rudolph then explains that each race has their own individual thing to it. So like the Satsuki show is like about the fastest racer, and the other race is about being the strongest, but the race that they're running, the Japanese Derby, is not about either of those things. It's about luck. Now we're at the end of the race, and all the races are starting to make their move. And also I forgot to say that Striker is also hurt, but even with that being said, she is still cooking out there. But all the other racers are also starting to turn it up as well. But everyone is giving it their all, trying to fight for their lives to win this race. Cap appears to take the lead, and the beast has done it. She has proven why she is one of the best, if not the best, in the game right now. And Rudolph acknowledges her strengths, realizing that yes, she is really strong, but something's not right. We have a flashback with the earlier conversation with the board, and the board's decision was still a no. We were put in a genjutsu, bro. And also, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro, when I was watching this, I was deadass putting a genjutsu. Alright, bro, y'all got it, bro. Y'all thought y'all was real funny for doing that. Man, that was a real good one, bro. Good joke, good joke. Now, it's a little bittersweet because even though, yes, Cap was not able to participate in the Japanese Derby, the director agreed to changing the rule for the registration, which is a pretty good thing. Now, it's time for me to really delve deep into this. So after Cap retired, they finally changed the rule to the Oguri rule, which is where basically any horses that were registered late or whatever could still race, basically. And one of the horses that benefited from this rule was TM Opera. And we obviously know that she was the GOAT as well. She ended up winning multiple races and getting a triple crown as well. So it basically meant that Oguri Cap had to sacrifice her triple crown for the change in the rules. And it helped out so much that obviously it helped future horses, obviously TM Opera being the benefactor of that. So not only that Oguri Cap popularized horse racing in her generation, she also helped a future generation too in the process. The gray monsters sent from the countryside really did make an impact on everything. Okay guys, I'm sitting here right now trying to debate whether or not I should even talk about episode 10 or not, because I'm looking at my script and I'm just like, I mean, do y'all really care? Yeah, I don't think y'all really care, right? Y'all know what? I'll make the decision for y'all. Y'all don't care, so I will give y'all the bullet points. So Cap watches Tamamo Cross win a race, and they basically say, yeah, that's gonna be your next opponent, so good luck. They go out and they fuck around and they just do nothing the entire episode. Also, you know, the reporter ends up harassing, you know, Cap and being like, hey, when's your next race? When is it gonna happen? And he figures that out. They're getting ready for another race next episode. So there you go. Cross is eating some lunch and we see a character pop up. Her name is Gold City. Now, I have no idea who this horse is at all, so y'all gonna have to let me know. And she basically mentions that your mood and demeanor has changed, Cross, because something has happened and we know what happened. It's because of Cap and what Cap is doing right now, and she knows that Cap is a threat to her. And speaking of Cap, we see her getting ready for a race. Now, I do not care about that race at all. That is a nothing race. So in the place of that, I'm going to give y'all a quick little fact about Dicta Striker. And the reason why I'm doing that is because one character decided to talk about the talent of the generation and talking about how abnormal it is for Cap and Tamamo Cross and how crazy they are. But she also alluded to the fact that Dicta Striker was also in that conversation as well. So it piqued my interest, and so I looked it up, and guess what? Dicta Striker is based off the real horse Soccer Boy. And I just want to say this real quick. I don't understand these names because some of them are really good. Like Tamamo Cross, pretty good. Oguri Cap, pretty good. Agnes Tachyon, really good. But then you have like Soccer Boy. What? I swear y'all just get random words from the dictionary and y'all just throw them bitches together. That's like me looking at a horse and being like, you know what? I'm gonna call you Black Febreze. Soccer Boy is actually a pretty good horse as well, but the main thing about the horse is that it held a record for 36 years and wasn't broken until this year. And that record was having a sub 2-minute race time in a 2,000 meter race, which is crazy because I think he was the first horse to ever do it at the time as well. So hopefully that fact is better than the actual race, because I think so. But hey, guess what? Kitahara pops up and says hi, and obviously Cap is excited running him over, but obviously he's here to say hi and bring some gifts over from the gang. Well, everyone's excited and happy to see Kitahara. There's like a crazy tone shift, and we see Cross next to someone's deathbed. Now, more than likely, this is gonna play a part. It just is. It's anime. It will always play a part. But guess what? It's time for Cap to finally put on her signature race wear. Now, did it take a whole season? Yes, but it doesn't matter now because we're about to get absolute peak when we finally get to see her put it on. Hey, I think that's pretty good. I ain't gonna lie, that ain't that bad. But I still think Tachyon's is a little bit better though. So the whole point of this like little event is to kind of like hype up everybody and like the fans for the upcoming race. Almost like in boxing where like the boxers talk about the upcoming fight. That's basically what this is. So they're here to talk about their goals, and Cap's goal is to be at the peak of racing. And everybody's like, oh wow, that's like a pretty big goal. You think you can do that? Especially when you're talking right next to the GOAT. And after thinking about her dying grandpa, she comes up with the conclusion that she's gonna go for the triple crown. And yeah, her aura just starts spilling out like crazy. Again, she's looking like Killua out there when he went in Godspeed. Cap feels that aura and she does not know how to even like comprehend what the hell is going on next to her. But it gets her excited because now she knows that she is the peak of racing. She is the peak that she needs to be if she wants to be at the top. We see a little Jit, and obviously this little Jit is baby Cross with her mom, and they're trying to find a place to live. Now, I know it must be tough being a single mother out there. You know, put your hands up for your single moms out there in the world. You know what I mean? You know, I know y'all struggling out there for real. You know, you have your baby daddies roaming around, not helping, not paying the child support. We know how the story goes. Also, like, how do these Umas have kids in this like universe that they're in. Like who's the dad? Like, is it just like regular human beings? Because like I noticed that like in this world, females are more than likely umas. So is it kind of like a bestiality thing where like a guy is just like, damn, you got a thick ass, you know what I'm saying? You got a thick ass, you know what I'm saying? Horse, you know that horse puh? My bad, sorry. In a Marvel-esque way, we see Cap's mom, for whatever reason, kind of make an appearance. I guess that's cool. I wonder if the Uma community went crazy when they saw this, because this must have felt like a Marvel like crossover for them. I just realized, like, why do they like blur out the faces of these like moms and the parents? Like, why do they do that? Like, why are you hiding their identity, bro? None of that matters now, because we're finally here. Even though it took me over 30 minutes to finally get to this race, it was worth it, because now this is the race of a lifetime. This is a legacy defining race. We see Cap walk out to the track, and her fans, her friends, and family are all cheering for her back at home in Kasamatsu. And of course, we see the White Lightning herself, Tamamo Cross. Now, both of them are undefeated this year. None of them have lost a race, but one of them has to lose today. We have a little flashback to their strategy meeting about the race, and they talk about Tamamo Cross and how fast she is and how she's more of a closer than anything else. But Rope says, I don't think you can just win. I know you will win. I like that. That's that confidence I need. On the other side, we see Tamamo Cross, who is usually anxious before races, but is clearly not anxious at all because she's in the corner just like exuding aura for whatever reason. Both of these Ashen horses are chasing history right now. Cap has won 6 graded races in a row, and if she wins this race, it'll be 7, which is obviously a record. And on the other side, Cross has won the Tenno Show before, and if she wins it again, that will be 2 consecutive wins in the Tenno Show, which has never been done before. The races are getting set, and they're ready to go. And they're off. We see at least one racer that's at least 6 lanes away, but right behind her is Tamamo Cross. Now, mind you, I don't know why she's all the way up here. Usually she's in the back waiting to pounce, but she decided to switch up the strategy last minute. Cross is plotting. Now, will it work? We'll have to wait and see. The reason why Cross is doing this is because she wants to change her style and she wants to overcome her fears, because her original style was born out of fear, but she's willing to take on the challenge because that's just who she is. Even Rope realizes that, saying that, damn, this might be more than we bargained for. Cap is starting to get a little anxious here too. Even though she may not understand what Cross is doing, she understands the fact that she might have to wait that out. And Cross is starting to feel it. She's feeling that pressure. She's starting to understand that this might be a little bit too much, but she keeps running, understanding that she cannot look back. This one racer thinks she got it in the bag, saying that, damn, I've conserved all my energy, even fooling everybody else. Not even Cross and Cap could even catch up to me. But again, this ain't your story, so get the hell up out of here. Cross catches up and says, well, buddy, you're cooked. Job's not done yet, because Cross knows that the biggest threat of them all is still right behind her. And that threat is starting to catch up, and we all know it's Cap. Now, Rope is over here throwing Orlovs, talking about how Four Eyes was right to call her beast, talking about how, oh, she basically won by just hawking down people. No strategy whatsoever. The beast is finally starting to catch up. Now, you would think that would be all right. Well, you'd be wrong, because there's just a little bit more at play here. There's like this big ass slope that they have to run up on, which again, it came out of nowhere. Cross sees the racer in front of her start to get tired, and then she finally takes that opportunity to take the lead. She knows that if it comes down to a final spurt, her and Cap are equal, so it will have to come down to positioning. Well, while she's in the process of thinking all those things, Cap is too busy hawking her down, knowing damn well she ain't gonna go out like that. Cap is closing the distance fast. Unfortunately, it's just not enough, as Cross is maintaining her speed. Cross knew Cap wasn't gonna go out like that, because she knew she was her, and she's thinking to herself, all I gotta do is keep the lead and nothing bad will happen. Her legs cramped. Now she's thinking to herself that she hasn't reached her limit, she's not done yet, and she starts to have this flashback, and you know, it's the classic anime flashback, you know, the classic trope. And as she's having that, she starts to awaken something that you may have heard before, this little thing called
the zone. In this state of extreme focus, all unnecessary thoughts disappear and the athlete becomes absorbed in his play. Only those who have dedicated themselves to rigorous training earn the right to stand before the door, but whom it chooses to open for is completely unpredictable.
Cap reaches her limit, and even though she was dominating her races, she has finally met her match, and Tamamo Cross proves why she's the best in Japan. Cap is thinking to herself like, damn, I really just lost that shit. But Cap goes up to Cross and says, nice racing. But then Cap realizes that maybe I just didn't want it bad enough. Cross also realizes that the main reason why she even pushed as hard as she did was because of Cap. Cross then acknowledges Cap even more by saying that you are worthy to be my rival, and they both blush at each other. But at the end of all the credits, we get a nice little surprise, a new foe in Cap's story. Now that is part 1. Thank God I am done with this because it took me so long to finally get this video out. But unfortunately it had to be in 2 parts because if I made a full hour-long length video, more than likely my computer would have exploded because I already said I lost all of my projects because my computer crashed. So now I have to redo all of those, especially now with My Hero that had just ended, Chainsaw Man, JJK just came out, and so on. I want to talk about those series, so I will try to get to part 2 when I can. So like and subscribe if you want me to get these videos out a lot more quicker, and if that's the case, I will try my damnedest to do so. But I hope y'all enjoyed.